John Law made a huge mark on the economy of his time with his groundbreaking and often debated financial strategies. His journey was packed with daring initiatives that sparked both admiration and skepticism from his peers. This video will take a closer look at Law's unique financial concepts, the effects of his work on the early banking world, and the legacy he created. John Law was born on April 21, 1671, in Edinburgh, Scotland, into a prosperous family with a notable background in the money-lending business. His father, a goldsmith, was well regarded in the financial community, which likely influenced Law's later pursuits. From a young age, Law exhibited a keen intellect and a strong affinity for mathematics, showcasing an early aptitude for the financial realm he would come to dominate. In 1688, after obtaining a rudimentary education in Edinburgh, Law moved to the continental Europe, seeking broader horizons and more lucrative opportunities. This pivotal relocation marked the beginning of a life filled with ambition, but also fraught with controversies. It was during this time that Law became deeply engrossed in the philosophies of economic theory, influenced by contemporaries like the French philosopher François Quesnay, who would later impact his ideas on finance. Law's life took a dramatic turn in 1694 when he became embroiled in a scandal involving the murder of a rival, a confrontation arising from a duel in which he was involved. Fleeing from the law, he opted to make a new life in France, where he would soon become a key figure in the financial landscape of the nation. His initial years in France were difficult, but Law persevered, honing his financial acumen and developing his revolutionary ideas about banking. After several years in France, Law gained the favor of King Louis XIV. Through a combination of charisma and intellectual prowess, he managed to convince the French crown of his innovative banking ideas. His vision included creating a national bank that would issue paper money, replacing the traditional reliance on coinage. This concept was revolutionary at the time, and it laid the groundwork for significant shifts in the financial practices of France. In 1716, John Law established the Banque Générale, marking a crucial moment in the evolution of modern banking. As the first institution to issue banknotes in France, it signified a departure from the traditional methods of currency. The introduction of paper money attracted significant interest, as it promised greater liquidity and the ability to engage in more extensive commercial activities. Law's bank quickly gained popularity, reflecting the public's growing trust in his financial innovations. With the foundation of the Banque Générale, Law's ambitions did not stop. He proposed the creation of the Mississippi Company, which would consolidate France's trading operations in North America. The company aimed to exploit the wealth of the French territories in the New World, particularly the lucrative resources and trade opportunities presented by the Mississippi River region. Law sought to capitalize on European colonial expansion's potential, leading to an economic boom in France. The Mississippi Company's stock prices soared as Law promoted it aggressively, utilizing his banking connections to raise capital and instill confidence in investors. The frenzy surrounding the company's shares led to rampant speculation and a financial bubble rarely seen in history. The initial successes made Law a celebrated financial genius, and he was at the pinnacle of his power, enjoying both wealth and political influence. However, the optimism surrounding the Mississippi Company began to unravel in 1720. Speculation drove stock prices to unsustainable heights, leading to an inevitable crash. Amidst the realities of overextension and the discrepancies between the company's actual economic prospects and public expectations, investors grew increasingly skeptical. The bursting of this financial bubble marked a turning point for Law and his ambitious plans for reform in the French monetary system. As stock prices plummeted, panic ensued among investors, leading to widespread financial ruin. The ensuing crisis eroded the public's trust in Law's banking system and his economic philosophies. Blamed for the financial failure, Law faced overwhelming criticism from both political and financial elites, leading to a loss of confidence in his ability to steer the nation out of the turmoil he had inadvertently created. Stripped of his power and influence, Law fled France in December 1720, seeking refuge across Europe. His expulsion marked a dramatic fall from grace for a man once heralded as a financial visionary. He traveled through several countries, including England and the Netherlands, while maintaining a somewhat low profile, far removed from the grandeur he had once enjoyed. Despite his hardships, Law continued to develop his financial theories, reflecting deeply on the lessons learned from the Mississippi debacle. He authored several works that attempted to outline his vision for a stable and prosperous financial system. In his writings, Law reiterated the importance of banking as an institution of managing credit and stimulating economic growth, key themes that would resonate in future economic discourses. In 1724, Law settled in Venice, Italy, where he remained for about a decade. During this period, he was plagued by the financial ruin that marked his later life. Though he experienced fleeting moments of financial success, his circumstances were considerably diminished from his former wealth. Nevertheless, he sought to maintain a semblance of the intellectual pursuits that had driven him throughout his life. John Law's health began to deteriorate in the 1730s, but his mind remained sharp. He continued to engage in conversations about finance and politics, sharing insights with those around him. Law's ability to articulate his theories, despite his hardships, exemplified a resilient and unwavering commitment to the economic ideas he had championed. In 1738, after enduring years of relative obscurity and financial instability, Law sought to return to France. Despite his previous misfortunes, he believed the political climate had shifted in a way that might allow for a renewed engagement with his ideas on banking and finance. However, the French authorities remained wary of Law's historical reputation and declined him entry, forcing him to remain in exile. Although he never returned to France, Law's ideas did not fade from the annals of financial history. The principles of banking he had proposed became increasingly relevant in an evolving economic landscape throughout Europe and beyond. His concepts of paper money and the impact of banking on economic growth would later be explored and expanded upon by economists in subsequent centuries. John Law lived out the remainder of his life in poverty, finally settling in a modest suburb of Venice, where he passed away on March 21, 1729. He died a man of complicated legacy, one who had once reached dizzying heights of financial innovation, only to witness the collapse of his ambitions. Despite the adversity he faced, Law's visionary spirit and economic theories continued to resonate within economic spheres long after his death.